Hey you guys, I'm Jasmine, and today I'm bringing you guys another movie reaction. If you're new here, I do a variety of different things on this channel, from food reviews, dating drama discussions, unpopular opinions, and so much more. I also have a whole Disney playlist if you want to check that out, and I am reliving the 90s, where I go through my different experiences of being a 90s kid. So if you want, you could give that a watch as well. Everything will be linked down below in the description box. This is definitely a variety channel. I don't have a niche over here. I am the niche. So if you like a multiple of different topics, check me out. But without further ado, let's jump into the movie reaction of Snow White. Hey you guys, I'm back, and today I'm going to be reacting as an adult to Snow White. It has been a very long time since I have seen this movie, but I did want to make a reaction to it since the movie is supposed to be coming out this week. Well, the live action. And over the course of my lifetime, I feel like there have been at least 8 or 9 remakes of Snow White, which in my opinion is ridiculous. I do not understand constantly recreating the same story over and over again unless you're adding some sort of pizzazz finesse to it. But I know a lot of times they're like, well, originals do well, so if people already know the character, it's easy for people to want to see it. I get it. I know it's a money grab, but at the same time, do we have to? So yeah, today I'm going to be watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm going to have some commentary. I already know I am. If you guys are new here, I will summarize stuff as I watch the movie, because I'm going to watch the movie with you guys in real time. Summarize it as well as share my opinions about what is happening. Feel free to chime in and share your thoughts as well. Also, if you are a big Snow White fan, I have a whole Snow White fan lover gift guide that you guys could check out. I will leave a link down below in the description box if you are interested. It's filled with a whole bunch of goodies, from clothes to accessories to different merch. Check that out if you're interested. But without further ado, we are about to watch Snow White together, so let's get locked in. So the movie starts off with a book opening. This is based off of the Grimm's fairy tales original, because that's where Snow White came from. And it says, once upon a time there lived a lovely little princess named Snow White. Her vain and wicked stepmother, the queen, feared that someday Snow White's beauty would surpass her own. It's gotta be something to really being in competition with your grown self with a child. It's something about that had never sat right with me. I will never understand it. So she dressed the little princess in rags and forced her to work as a scullery maid. I don't get it. She really just made her just a whole slave. It's really unfathomable. Like, where was her parents? Where were they that she has to be with this stepmother, you know? In the book, it said, each day the vain queen consulted her magic mirror.
Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
And as long as the mirror answered,
you are the fairest one of all,
Snow White was safe from the queen's cruel jealousy. Again, how is it that you can be that hard up about a little girl being more beautiful than you? Girl, you're gonna age. You're gonna get old. And that's okay. As long as you date within your bracket, it's fine.
It's fine. It's not a big deal.
So one day, the queen goes to do her daily asking of the mirror, slave in the mirror, which, first of all, I never knew she said that. I don't know, if I just never paid that attention when I was a child, but she said slave in the magic mirror. And she proceeds to ask it,
who is the fairest one of all?
So the mirror proceeds to tell her,
girl, you look good, but it's a maid that's dressed in rags that look even better.
The mirror says she is more fair than thee. And the way that they phrase this is almost like he's not exactly saying she is fairest, like beautiful. It could just mean that she is fair. She treats people with grace. She treats people with fairness. That's how I'm kind of perceiving it, but I could just be looking too deep because I haven't seen Snow White in a long time. So the queen tells him, okay, well,
who is this chick you talking about?
And he proceeds to tell her,
yeah, the hair is ebony, red, lips like a rose, skin white as snow.
And she instantly says, oh, it's Snow White. I locked her away. I'ma get her. The screen goes to Snow White. She scrubbing some steps, but that doesn't deter her soul. Here she goes. She humming, singing with the birds. Pigeons even. I think they're pigeons. They kind of pretty. She got a collective of birds just hovering around her, which, I'm not gonna lie to you, if I saw that in real life, I would kind of be a little terrified. Like, what's going on? This girl in rags, she's scrubbing stone steps, and she got a flock of birds around her, and they follow her everywhere.
Are you an unfortunate woman?
What's going on with your life? So she starts talking to the birds. And I talk to animals sometimes, but not like this. But she starts, I talk to my dog. But she starts talking to the birds, and she tells them, as she pours the water out and she goes to get some more water, she goes to this well, and she explains to them,
that's a wishing well.
And obviously, in Disney favor, they start doing the musical singing. And she shares, you can tell your wish to the well, and if it echoes, your wish will come true. And I vividly remember this song. So she starts singing into the wishing well.
I'm wishing for the one I love to find me today.
Every now and again, I would sing this song. One of the many Disney movies that stayed with me for a period of time, even though I did not have to rewatch it. So she's singing this song, I'm wishing for the one I love to find me today. Whoever's in the vicinity could probably hear it, especially with it echoing into the well. Now, this prince rides up and sees her. He's just smiling at her, looking at her singing. He steps up to her and he starts singing with her like,
today.
He introduces him. Well, he tries to introduce himself. He says, hello, how are you? Instantly, Snow White like,
a man? I'm not.
She instantly takes off running. And it's probably because she's never been around any men for real before. So instantly, this girl's scared. Which makes you wonder, why didn't she keep that energy throughout this whole course? But anyways, she hauls it into her little dungeon castle. So after she runs into there, she goes to the balcony and the guy starts singing back to her.
Now that I found you, hear what I have to say. One song. I have but one song only for you.
It kind of gets me. It's like having a boombox out, except he on the ground and he's singing the words from his mouth and it's on key. It's real cute. So Snow White, she's swooning, but she also, it's not funny, but she kind of like trying to fix up her rags a little bit and push up her hair like,
let me look a little cute for this man.
Girl, the rags are ragging. It's not doing much for you. As he is serenading Snow White, she's watching him from the balcony. She's swooning. The evil queen can hear him doing all this, and she gets annoyed and closes them curtains like,
I don't need to hear this mess.
So he finishes singing the song. Snow White kisses a bird on the lips, which, girl, diseases. But she kisses this bird, and the bird flies over to the prince. The bird starts blushing. How does the bird even know about this? Anyways, the bird kisses the prince on the lips too. Again, I already know, even though this is a children's movie, there's a lot of animals doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. Bird flu, you know what I mean? Listen, we just gonna continue this because clearly they don't know hygiene, sanitation. They don't know it. So the evil queen tells her faithful huntsman,
I'm gonna need you to take Snow White out to the woods. Let her pick some flowers, whatever she will, and I'm gonna need you to gut her. I'm gonna need you to get her heart out from her because I need to make sure that she gone.
The huntsman responds,
what do you mean? Like, that's the little princess.
The evil queen is like,
silence. If you fail, that's your head. And to make sure, I need you to put her heart in this box.
I'm not gonna lie, the box kind of cute. But he tells him to go do it, otherwise he gonna get into some trouble. Which again, the evil queen is going to some great gargantuan lengths for a little girl. I do not comprehend it. I do not understand it. Why do you have that much hatred in you? It does not make sense. So Snow White goes out to the forest to pick her little flowers. The huntsman is kind of watching over her. He looking around. Maybe it's because Snow White has never had anybody literally try to attack her. But the girl is oblivious of surroundings. She interacting with a little birdie that's lost. She trying to help the birdie find a family. The huntsman come behind her. He pull out his little sword, and he looking like he about to jug her, about to give her a quick 1-2. Snow White turns around,
and she just, oh.
He throws them down. He like,
I can't do it. I'm sorry, Your Highness.
The huntsman proceeds to tell her, listen,
the queen mad, she jealous of you, she gonna stop at nothing. I'm gonna need you to run and hide, get away from here, never come back, because it's not safe for you.
So Snow White listens to this, and she like,
oh no.
And she just starts just running, hiking up her little dress, just running, hightailing it through the woods. She don't know where she going, but girl ain't got no survival skills. But she out here, she running, she chugging along. So as she running, she going through darker parts of the woods. An owl scare her, some bats scare her. I understand the experience. I actually have a whole video about how there was a bat in my house. It was very terrifying. If you want to watch it, you can. Anyways, she was hauling. At one point, some tree branches get a hold of her dress, and it almost makes it look like they're fingers. And a part of me is like, did the girl smell the flowers a bit too much and she was hallucinating a little bit? That's why they was looking like they was coming to life? Or was the evil queen potentially using some sort of magic to grab on her? I assume not, because she did not know that she was let go, but it's just something to think about. Was the girl a little high off the flowers that she was picking? With all the stuff that she was seeing coming after her, was it her mind playing tricks on her? What was that? Yeah, it's so much going on. She's running. She end up falling off a little mini cliff into some water. It's looking like the logs that she fell into the water with look like they turned into alligators. Different trees look like they monsters. Again, she just scared, terrified. I really wonder, because I cannot remember if I was terrified of this segment of this part of the movie, but I feel like I was, because it is so much stuff going on. I could not imagine if I'm up here running away from somebody trying to off me, and then everything turned into creatures, monsters. I collapse. I'm on the ground crying, because I don't know what I'm doing. It's a whole bunch of animals. They see her crying because they like,
oh, who is this? She knew she in our neck of the woods.
Who is this?
It's deers, rabbits, chipmunks, birds. They looking at her, and she end up like scaring them a little bit, and because she crying or whatever, and she's startled, and she proceeds to talk to them because that's her thing. She talking to the animals, and she tells them, it's my bad.
I was just afraid. I'm making a whole fuss about this whole situation. I'm sorry.
Then she asked them,
what do you do when things go wrong?
The bird starts singing, and she says,
oh, you sing a song.
Girl, you need to be finding somewhere to stay. You up here talking to these animals. You need to be hauling yourself somewhere way across the town, way across country, so you can be safe, and you up here talking to the animals. They didn't teach her anything. No type of survival skills. Just none. She just oblivious, talking to animals. But I guess that's what happens when you don't have no friends to really talk to, when you out in the woods, when you've been a maid slave your whole life. Okay, so I'm kind of concerned about Snow White. She's supposed to be finding safety. She starts singing to the animals. The song goes, life is just like a bright sunny day. Your cares fade away and your heart is young. Babes, someone is trying to come for your life. Why are you not focused on the problem at hand of escaping? She could have been a decent blocks away. I mean, I know they're in the forest, but she could have been a decent amount of time away, and she up here diddly-daddling with the deers and the buddies. Now, you can't tell me Snow White don't got no magical powers. I'm starting to feel like Snow White a siren. Because she proceeds to sing them a little chant. Not a chant. She proceeds to sing them this little song, right? And then she explains to them,
I'll be alright, but it's best for me to start finding a place for me to stay. I can't stay with you guys. I can't be on the ground. I can't stay in a tree. I'm too big to be in a nest. Do you guys know somewhere in the woods where I can stay?
And they look at her like, yeah, girl, we do. And she asked them to lead her there. No regular person could do that. So it's really making me feel like Snow White got some magic in her. I know that's a stretch, but I'm telling y'all, this do not add up. She gotta have surprise because, first of all, she can talk to the animals. They can understand her to some sort of way. And she be witching them. She be witching them because she's singing them these songs and they getting her. They like, girl, let us take you. The birds pulling her like, come on, girl, we gonna show you a nice little house for you to stay in. They lead her to this house, this cottage in the woods. It's a nice little house. She skips her little self on over there and says,
I like it here.
girl, you would probably like it anywhere. She looks inside in the windows, just like a nosy neighbor. She looking in the windows.
It's dark in there.
She knocking on the door.
I guess nobody's home.
Opens the door. What you mean? You're not supposed to be opening doors to homes that you don't know nothing about. You don't know who stay there. Girl got no home training, clearly. Nobody has taught this girl anything. So she opens the door and says,
hello, may I come in?
She lets herself in and proceeds to motion to the animals to come in with her. How you just letting somebody else into a home that's not even yours? Just no home training. My gosh, just no home training. So the animals are prancing their way inside. And I think one of the funniest things about this is she told them, shh, as in to quietly come in behind her. So they're tiptoeing. And there's this one turtle that has been following them along the journey again to this place, right? And I'm like, why are you prancing when you slow? You shouldn't be making no noise anyways. So she, looking around, she notices there's 7 little chairs, which she perceives it to be 7 little children that lives in this home. I could understand her feeling this way if her parents are not around as well. She might think that this isn't out of the ordinary for kids to live by themselves or should not have parents, which is kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie to you. She proceeds to see,
oh, there's a pickaxe and a stocking.
And she chuckles to herself. Girl, what is your thought process like? How are your thoughts in that head? Because nothing about this is amusing to me. And she notices that there are dishes everywhere. It's dirty. She found a shoe in a pot. I'm sorry. To me, it is given a house that is foreclosed and needs to be cleaned up. I'm not gonna hold you. Something else that is so amusing about this is this woman or child, I don't know how old is Snow White. I'll put it up on the screen how old she's supposed to be. She comes into these people home and she judging them. She like, it's just a mess and dirt everywhere. And while she judging them, the animals judging too. The chipmunks, the birds, the deer, they all judging this dirty house. This is so unserious. So then Snow White makes the connection.
You think they're mother, but...
Oh, what if they don't have a mother? They must be orphans.
And she thinks,
let me clean the house and surprise them.
Don't get me wrong. I assume it would be nice to come home to a clean home. But if they don't know you, you touching their stuff, you up there, just let yourself into their home. That's insane. But her thought process is, maybe if I surprise them with a clean home, they would be willing to let me stay here with them. Which I see.
I see the math.
I see the service she trying to provide, but at the same time, you could have probably waited till they got home instead of breaking in and entering and then proceeding to touch their stuff and clean. She begins to tell the different animals they tasked to do. You tidy up the room, you wash the dishes, you clean the fireplace. And do you know this woman took the easiest job? She was like, I'ma just sweep. I'ma take the broom. Again, a crafty magician. I still feel like, ain't no way. She really took the easiest job out of everything and then they doing everything else. Absolutely insane. She begins to sing the song, Whistle While You Work. Now, chipmunks and squirrels are washing the dishes. Rodents are washing your dishes that you will eat your food on. I am just... They're standing in the dishes. They're putting their tails on the dishes to wipe them. Where is the water? The deer is licking the plates clean and they are drying. The squirrels and chipmunks are drying them. This is their form of washing dishes. It is just unsanitary all around. I cannot believe this. How did I miss this as a child? This is absolutely crazy. Okay, so this chick isn't extremely crazy. She sees them doing this and she says,
"Oh, no. Put them in the tub."
And so they put the dishes in the tub and they proceed to crank the water, to add water to the tub so they can actually wash them. Okay, so it's not as bad as I thought it was. It's still bad. It's still animals touching plates you gonna eat off of. But it's not as bad as them licking it and then wiping it. Ugh, where's the soap at? Girl, why don't you do this and let them sweep? Because it's not, no. Then it's squirrels, I believe. They started sweeping dirt under the rug. And she tell them,
not under that rug.
And they look at each other and they began to sweep the dirt into a hole in the wall. I don't know what they was thinking when they made this movie. Because then a mouse pushes the dirt back out and starts yelling at them like, "Kai. Why would you push dirt into my house?" And the squirrel's like, "Oh, my bad." So she notices all the dirty clothes, tosses them all up on this deer. The deer carries them outside, and she got the raccoons washing clothes. You can't tell me she wasn't a witch. I'm telling you right now. Nothing explains this. Nothing explains this action. They just met this girl, and they said, "Oh, I'm gonna help you do chores in a house we know nothing about, or a house where we doing stuff for other people." It's not adding up. So while she's doing all this cleaning, we see the Seven Dwarfs, who they are working in these mines, digging, I believe, for diamonds and jewels. Now, this does kind of make me wonder, I know that's their job to be digging for diamonds, but at the same time, how did they get this job? It seems like they almost their own boss, where they dig up the jewels. And you would think they would live in a bigger home. So after she finished cleaning the first floor with the animals, she says to them,
"Let's go see what's upstairs."
Just nosy. She goes upstairs, realizes it's 7 beds. Doc, Happy, Sneezy, Dopey, Grumpy, Bashful, Sleepy. Again, the names. It's just so interesting, the creativity that some people have when it comes to creating concepts of stories and what they're going to name characters. So she ends up getting sleepy from all the work that she did and ends up going to sleep on the beds of people she don't know. And she didn't even wash these bed covers. Completely forgot about cleaning up upstairs. But she go to sleep on the beds of people she don't know. And then also some of the animals sleep with her on the other beds where they taking a little nap because they tired of helping her clean as well. So the animals end up waking up because they end up hearing the dwarves singing they hi-ho off from work. Back home we go, pretty much. They wake up, they hightail it down the stairs, and again, what's so funny is this turtle, he be struggling. He be the last to get somewhere. He finally made his way up to them steps to where they was, and the animals just came running out because they hear them. They like, "Oh, we gotta get out of here." Completely left Snow White on the bed. They knocked the turtle right down them steps. Like, dang, you ain't even get to nap with your girl. So the dwarves get to the house. So Doc stopped. He like,
"Stop that singing. The lights on in the house. What's going on? Because we ain't had no candles lit that's going to light all day. Who in there?"
So then they speculating about what's inside. A goblin, a demon, a dragon, whatever. Grumpy tells them he felt something bad about to happen because his corn's been hurting him. And he just had a bad feeling all day. So they then say they about to sneak up on it, whatever it is. And they all got their pickaxes at they shoulders like they ready to hit something. They creep inside the house because they don't know what's in there. And as they're creeping in, Sleepy ends up stepping over Dopey. Probably because he's sleepy, he not paying attention to what's going on. And as Dopey comes in, I'm guessing he naturally shut the door behind him, so he slammed the door, and it startles the other dwarves. They start scuffling and end up looking like they about to attack, but they also terrified. So as they're looking around their home to check out, what's in there, you can see some of the animals are watching them, but also keeping themselves hidden. Doc realizes that the floor's been swept, and then they start noticing that the windows have been washed, places have been dusted, cobwebs are gone. And Grumpy proceeds to say,
"There's some dirty work afoot."
"Boy, your house is clean." Happy notices that they cooking something. He like,
"Ooh, whatever it is they cooking sure smells good."
He proceeds to grab a spoon and he was gonna scoop some up out of there to taste it. Grumpy is like,
"Don't eat it, you fool. You don't know what's real."
Right, because why would you go and eat somebody else's cooking? You know you ain't been in the house. And Grumpy says that he was like,
it might be poison. This could be witch's brew.
And I still say Snow White might have a little witch in her. I'm just saying.
So
then they notice, oh, the table's been cleaned, and someone actually set out, the place setting, and they noticed that it was some flowers on the table, and one of them was like,
ooh, you put out flowers.
And they shoved them in front of Sneezy's nose. And he proceeds to be like,
listen, man, don't do it. I got hay fever. I can't.
And he starts trying to sneeze, but they stop him from sneezing because they know it's going to be loud and they don't know who's in their house. He ends up sneezing anyway, and he blows all of the dwarves over, like fully across the room, knocks them into the wall. And Grumpy gets mad and is like,
you pick a fine time to sneeze.
Sneezy tells him,
I can't control it. When you got it, you gotta.
It does make me wonder about the Seven Dwarfs. Are they all brothers, or are they just dwarves that found each other? How does that work? And do they specifically work in that mine because they are the only people that could fit in that mine as far as height? So then the birds start messing with them, and they start pecking their beaks against the wood. And it scares them because they like it's in the same room. The birds look at each other and let out this loud screech noise. The dwarfs proceed to run and scuffle because they scared. They don't know what it is. Them birds ain't ass. They all hide. And they realize, you know what? Whatever it is probably upstairs. So Doc tells them one of us has to go up there and chase it down. And they all proceed to look at Dopey. They really don't be caring about Dopey for real. They just be using him as bait. And Dopey looking at them like,
oh, y'all talking about me? Oh, nah.
And he proceeds to try to walk away, and they grab him like, no, you about to be the bait. You about to go up there and see what's up there, making all that. Who up there? Who really was in our house? They are horrible. Doc tells him, here, take the candlelight. And he up there shaking. He can't even give it to him. He like,
don't be nervous.
You're the one that's nervous, sending me up there to my potential death. Horrible brother, friend, whatever you supposed to be. They send him up the stairs, talking about,
oh, we right behind you.
Keep in mind, Dopey at the top of the stairs, they at the bottom. No help. So Dopey opens the door. He puts the candlelight in first. Then he walks his whole self in there. Snow White starts yawning, and she starts, you know how you move your arms around. It looks like it's a ghost or somebody other than blankets. Instantly, Dopey freaks out. You hear this grown man kind of yell, and he starts screaming, running. And he ended up falling down the stairs with the door. So they fall down the stairs. First of all, they all scuffling to get out the house. You know, they ended up falling or whatever, but Dopey got his legs tied behind his head. I don't know how he did that, but they run. It's not funny. He running out the house, and they end up closing Dopey in the house, and they pulling on the door, right? They pull it on the door to keep it closed. They're like, we gotta keep it shut. We gotta hope it shut. It's gonna get us. And it's Dopey trying to pull the door from the opposite side, trying to get up. This is so unserious. I'm so sorry, y'all. This is so unserious. So they end up pulling the doorknob, but because they both was pulling so hard, they end up letting it go. And Dopey falls back into where the dishes were. So all he covered in dishes, like he got dishes on his whole entire body, on his head, covering his head, on his hands, arms, on his feet, everything. Dopey still thinks somebody after him, so he proceeds to come out. And the dwarves see him come out, but they don't know it's him. And so they gang up on him and pretty much start just whacking him and jumping him with stuff. Talking about, quick, give it to it. So they end up jumping Dopey, and then Doc realized, wait, this Dopey. They ain't apologizing nothing after whooping their brother, whoever, but... And they like, did you see it? Did it have horns? Or was it Julie? What was it doing? Every time they say something, he reenacts it. So they like, did it have horns? And he like, and they was like, was it Julie? He started foaming at the mouth. And they was like, well, what was it doing? What was it doing? And then he proceeds to be like, oh, it was sleeping, making a notion that, shh, that noise. So Doc explains, he said it was a monster sleeping in our beds, and Grumpy tells them,
yeah, let's attack while it's sleeping.
So they all agree and go back into the house. So they get upstairs. Snow White ends up yawning again, looking like a ghost. They realize,
Oh, this is a monster that takes up 3 beds. It's big.
One of them asks, which end are we supposed to off it on? Because they don't know. They just know it's something in their bed, but they haven't seen what it is. They surround their beds. They got their axes up like they about to chop at her, which, to be honest, that would have been on trend for them. Because they definitely attacked Dopey, asked no questions, just attack. But in this case, they pulled the sheet back and noticed it was a girl, and they stopped. All of them are looking at Snow White, sharing how attractive she is. Grumpy proceeds to say she may be pretty, but she a female, and all females are poison. Who hurt you? He shares that females are full of wicked wiles. He don't know what wicked wiles are, but he know that they full of them. So Doc tells him to be quiet because they don't want to wake her. And Grumpy, I agree with Grumpy because he ends up saying,
let her wake up because she don't belong here no how.
Which I agree. They don't know this woman. It's some chick in their bed, came up in their house while they wasn't there. They know nothing about her. And she in their bed. Hello, this is still a stranger. So she ends up waking up and they hide at the foot of the bed. Because I guess they couldn't find nowhere else to hide. She yawns and she says,
I wonder if the children are back.
And then as she's about to finish her sentence, she notices multiple people at the foot of the bed watching her. They end up peeking their heads and their noses over the top of the bed, looking at her. And she says,
oh, you're little men.
And they peek their head out from over the bed. And she asked them, how do they do? And they looking at each other in confusion. And she asked the question again. And Grumpy asked her,
how do you do what?
And she proceeds to be like,
oh, you do talk. I'm so glad.
Girl, if you don't get out of these man's bed and out of their house, why are you there? So she proceeds to be like,
now don't tell me who you are. I'ma guess who you all are.
You in people's homes you don't know, and you up here taking over playing guessing games. It's giving some sort of witch enhancement or something because I'm not getting why they even entertaining this. Why are they not asking her, why are you in our home? Why are you in our house? Why are the questions not being asked? So she guesses all the people right, and then Happy expresses to her that he introduces Dopey and says that he can't talk and he never tried. And they start laughing at him. That's kind of messed up that you basically trying to kick him out of the running and talking to her. You know, in the event that y'all was trying, you just basically making Dopey look dumb. Again, what type of family are you? Grumpy asking the right questions because she's like,
oh, you must be Grumpy.
He tells her,
we know who we are, but who are you and what are you doing here?
So then Doc was like, yeah, what are you and who are you doing? And then he rephrases it because, you know, I didn't explain, but Doc has a stuttering issue. And then he proceeds to ask her again,
who are you?
And she shares that she's Snow White. They realize,
oh, you're the princess. You know, it's an honor to have you here.
But Grumpy was like,
nah, we mad. Tell her to get out. Why she here? What is she doing here?
And Doc, it's like he can't really get the words out because it's like Grumpy projecting his emotions on there, but Doc also trying to come up with his own emotions, but he in confusion. Grumpy is telling him,
shut up and tell her to get out because it's our house.
Rightly so. I'm sorry, like, I don't agree with the female statement Grumpy made, but I do agree with the concept of we don't know you and you basically broke into our house, touched all our stuff, slept in our home, was cooking our food. We don't know you. We know nothing about you. Then you questioning us and who we are in our home. The entitlement on this one. So Snow White tells them that the queen is after her.
Don't put me out because the queen is after me. She wants to off me.
They're looking like the queen mean, and Grumpy tells them
she a witch, she powerful, and if they find you here, she gonna come after all of us.
Snow White says,
well, she doesn't know where I am.
And Grumpy like,
girl, she don't know where you are, huh? She gonna find out.
Again, Grumpy sharing the logic. He like,
she black magic. She could be invisible. She could do a lot of stuff.
And Snow White reiterates,
she ain't gonna find me here. But if you let me stay here, I'll clean and I'll do all this stuff. But I'll cook.
And when she said cook, the dwarves instantly,
cook? Oh, bet. She could stay here. Could make dumplings? You could stay here.
So she tells them she can make all types of pies, and they say she stays. Grumpy still looking like, nah, this ain't the move. She gets out of bed, runs down the stairs because she realized the food might be burning a little, so she takes it off. They look in, they smell it, and notice she made them some soup. They end up scuffling down the stairs, fighting over the bread that's on the table. Snow White proceeds to tell them,
"Nah, don't be touching trying to eat the food. Let me see your hands."
She tells them,
"Supper's not ready just yet, but y'all got time to wash."
And they looking around at each other.
Wash what?
And Grumpy proceeds to say,
I knew there was a catch to it.
Like, bro, they just be dirty. It's the way they talking amongst themselves, like,
wash what? We ain't going nowhere.
She says,
"Or perhaps you have watched."
Doc says,
"Perhaps we have."
Just like kids. So then Doc begins to stutter.
Last week, last month, recently.
And they all in unison say,
"Recently."
I swear, just like some children. So she proceeds to ask them, let me see your hands. They hide them. They have to show them to her if they gonna want to eat. And she convinces them to wash their hands. Everybody goes to wash their hands except for Grumpy, right? He proceeds to not speak to her. He ends up walking out of the house and not washing his hands. He just ends up sitting outside the house because he don't want to listen to her. Now this part is really getting me because they touch the water and it's almost like they've never touched water before. I could not imagine the funk upon them. Because they really acting like they don't be washing their butts. They really acting like they never washed before. They touching water like,
oh, it's wet.
What do you mean? You have white hair. Are you saying you've gone your whole life without washing? But anyways, Grumpy proceeds to share with them that
women will basically change you and try to tell you what to do.
Doc is like, don't listen to him. Let's just focus on washing so we can get our food and go. So they all end up washing and scrubbing, right? And then they proceed to look at each other, round up in a group. They plot on dragging Grumpy to get washed up. So they end up going over to him, surrounding him, and dragging him and throwing him in there to wash up. I know that man was mad. So they end up struggling and fighting with Grumpy in the tub. Doc tells Dopey to
get the soap.
And Dopey having a tough time holding on to the soap because he's slippery. And what ends up happening is somehow the soap ends up going down his throat and into his stomach. I'm going to need you to explain because it was a big bar of soap. A big bar. It just go right down in there and it's in his stomach. Absolutely wild work. But they end up washing Grumpy. They talk about how nice he smells. And they go into the house to go eat the food that Snow White made for them. Flash to where the castle is. The queen holds the box with the heart in it that she believes to be Snow White's heart. She asks the magic mirror,
"Who's the fairest one of them all?"
The magic mirror gives the exact location of where Snow White is. He tells her,
Snow White's still fine in the mug, and she in the cottage where the Seven Dwarfs reside.
The evil queen tells the magic mirror,
No, the huntsman went and got her, chopped her up, and he brought me back her heart. So I know that girl is in the ground.
The magic mirror tells her,
correction, get your facts straight. That's a pig heart that's in that box. She where I said she is. He lied to you.
So the evil queen gets mad. She like
the heart of a pig. I know you lying.
She start prancing. Just model stepping down them steps. And she get to her little dungeon thing she got set up where she be concocting her little potions and stuff. She get in there and she like,
you know what? I'ma handle this myself. I'ma get me a disguise and I'ma go to the Seven Dwarfs house and I'ma get her.
She grabs her book of disguises. She finds a formula to transform her beauty into ugliness. Well, that should not be hard. So she finds this spell. It's called the Peddler's Disguise. In the formula, it has mummy dust, black of night, an old hag's cackle, and a scream of fright. Then she adds a blast of wind to fan her hate and a thunderbolt to mix it well. It's so crazy. So she just can command certain elements. I'm scared of her. And she starts going through convulsions. having hyperventilation. She going through it. She transforming. Her hair turning white. Her skin turning old. Her voice changing. Her clothes changing. The girl look hit. So then she decides to create a poison apple to cause the sleeping death curse. One taste of the poison apple and the victim's eyes will close forever in the sleeping death. Now after dinner, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they dancing. They jiving. They having a whole little jitter club in their house. It seemed like they all fitting in. They getting along pretty well. They even got Grumpy playing the little piano. So then after they get finished singing and dancing, she proceeds to tell them the story about her and the prince being in love. And then she starts singing a little romantic song. And this is where she starts singing,
"Someday my prince will come, someday we'll meet again. Away to his castle we'll go."
And I think it's "We'll Forever Be Happy, I Know." So the evil queen ends up making her apple. She makes the potion and dips the apple into it, letting the poison seep through it. The apple ends up turning from this black color, and then I guess she uses her powers to make it turn red so that it looks like a regular apple for Snow White to take a bite out of. When she breaks the peel of this apple, when she bites into it, her breath will steal, her blood will congeal. Insane work for an old biddy, I tell you. So then the evil queen thinks about it, and she's like,
"Wait, there may be an antidote to this. Let me go check my book."
It says that the poison apple antidote is the victim of the sleeping death can be revived only by love's first kiss. For some reason, I thought it was true love's first kiss, not love's first kiss. So it doesn't necessarily have to be true love. It just has to be someone that you love. It has to be your first kiss. Good thing they never kissed before. The evil queen slams the book. She's like,
"I don't gotta worry about that. The dwarves gonna think she dead and they just gonna bury her alive."
That's crazy. She completely forgot about the prince. And if the prince would be around, because I know she saw him singing to her the other day. Also, buried alive is a crazy concept because if it's sleeping death, does that mean if she does not eat or drink anything, she would still be able to sustain her living, or does it mean she just won't wake up at all? How does that work? Can her body still exist without it being a problem since she would still be asleep, or would she still need to eat in order for her to be sustained, you know? So this woman can't even wait. She hop in her boat immediately in the middle of the night after making this poison apple. She hop in that boat and starts rowing the boat. Get across the way, and she start walking. She making her way. She like,
"Ooh, I'ma get that girl. She gonna be there. I ain't gonna have to worry about me not being the prettiest. I'ma go get her."
She did not waste no time. Literally, the next day she was on it. She found out the information and was like, "I am in here. I am going to deal with this right now." The next day, they get up. The dwarves are about to get ready to head out for work. And Doc tells her the evil queen is a sly one. Beware strangers. Snow White tells him she'll be okay, and she gives him a kiss on his forehead. To which he becomes a little bashful and then chuckles and heads on out. Now, the other dwarves see this, so they pull off their caps too, like, "Oh, let us get kisses as well." And it's funny because Dopey tried to let her give him a kiss on the lips. Again, he not that dumb. So then it's Grumpy's turn about to be, and he waits till the guys are a little bit further off. He rubs his head to make sure it looks nice, and he walks up to her. He has his hat taken off, and he's like,
Make sure nobody comes into the house.
She tries to kiss him or whatever. He start pulling away from her because he don't want her to kiss him, but she kisses him anyways. And he starts stumping off like he mad, but he deep sighs, and you could tell that he actually starting to like her. So while the doors are going off to work, about to go work, you see the evil queen in her hag state. She walking, and she talking about her plan where she says, the little man, they about to be away at work, and she'll be alone, and I'll get her. And she'll be convinced since I'm just an old little peddler woman. Now, while she's walking, you could see, I guess these are hawks, vultures? I don't know. Some sort of creatures, and they see her walking. And a part of me feel like they looking at her like, "Oh, this an old biddy. She about to croak. So we gonna go off with her because when we croak, we gonna eat her body." I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of dark. So while The dwarves are away. Snow White is at the house making them a pie with the help of rodents. She cooking and singing, the chipmunks, the birds, they helping her make the pie. It just, the birds got their feet in the pie. It's just, I would never want to eat nothing this woman made. As she get finished cooking, she look up and the old hag just staring her in her face in the window, smiling like a creep. And Snow White had, again, no proper awareness because the hag asked her,
"All alone, my pet?"
And Snow White tells her,
"Why, yes, I am."
Don't share that information. And then the hag proceeds to ask her,
"Oh, something smells good. Are you making pies?"
Snow White shares she's making gooseberry pies. Which, what is gooseberry? I've never heard of that before. Is that a real berry? Anyways, the hag proceeds to tell her,
"Apple pies are what make the men folks' mouth water."
I'm not gonna hold you. Men do like apple pies. That is a proven fact. Yes. The hag tells her,
"Yeah, apple pies made from apples like these."
Snow White tells her,
"Oh, they look quite delicious."
Don't know no better. Now, while this is going on, some of the birds notice that those vultures are around. And they like, nah, something up. But the hag tells Snow White,
"Have a bite of this apple. Go ahead."
And the birds instantly start swarming the old lady. Like, nah, get out of her face. They start pecking at her, attacking the hag. And Snow White comes out and is like,
Stop it, go away."
They don't be attacking nobody else. I would have took that as a sign. And so Snow White is shaming them because she's like, shame on you for attacking the old lady. And the hag ends up, you see her, she picks up the apple. She's like, oh,
I thought I lost it. Oh, I thought I lost it.
Whoever played this hag part is hilarious. So then the hag notices how considerate Snow White is being, and she's like,
"Oh, my heart. Ooh, oh."
And she tells her, take me into the house and let me rest, please. And Snow White helps her into the house. Again, she's a caring person, but to a fault. She's not really thinking about her safety. So all the animals are concerned, and they basically, around the window, they watching. The animals are like, nah, we gotta go. We gotta go tell somebody. So they start hauling, running through the woods. As the dwarves, they getting ready to go to work in the mines, and the animals show up. They all frantic. They tugging them, but it almost seemed like they being attacked, or at least that's what they thinking. And so they kind of like trying to fight them off. So while the dwarves are dealing with these animals attacking them, and they kind of in confusion, we go back to where Snow White and the old lady are. The hag tells her,
"Because you helped this old lady, I'm going to tell you a secret. This is a magic wishing apple. One bite and all your dreams will come true."
So she tells Snow White to make a wish and take a bite. So flash to the dwarves scuffling with the animals. They're like, why are they acting like this? And Grumpy says,
"They're not acting this way for nothing."
And then Sleepy proceeds to say,
"Maybe the old queen got Snow White."
Where instantly all of them look at him and they end up hauling, taking off to where their cottage is. Now what's so crazy about this is they've declared that they about to go save Snow White. Grumpy hops up on a deer like it's a horse, and the deer takes off running like it's a horse. And the other dwarves follow suit too, where they hop up on the deer like they steed and take off. Flash to the Queen of Snow White. The Queen asks her, is there someone that perhaps you love? And Snow White says, yes, there is. The Queen/hag tells her,
"Take the apple, make a wish."
So Snow White makes her wish for her prince to come. Takes a bite, and she starts saying she feels strange. And Snow White drops on the ground, to which she cackles with glee that she is now the fairest in the land. The hag opens the door because she about to head out, go back to her castle, her nice humble abode. And she sees the parade of animals and the dwarves running towards the cottage. And she begins to take off. She starts scuffling with her old lady legs. She's scuffling, hauling butt. They proceed to chase this woman down. Nobody checked on Snow White. They went past the house. They chasing this woman down. She climbing up a cliff.
Up a cliff.
And I'm like, as an old woman, you climbing up cliffs? She get to the top of the cliff, realize she trapped. She ain't got no option, no way to get out. And it's funny because, again, the vultures been around her watching the whole time. And I know they just waiting for her to just fall up off that block so they can just munch on her. So as she's on this cliff, she notices there's a big stick that she could wedge under this big rock. And she's thinking, I'm going to push this rock onto these dwarves to crush them so that they can't come up here towards me. But as she starts trying to move it, she starts cackling and cackling. Keeping in mind, it's raining, it's thundering. Thunder strikes where she's laughing, standing, and she falls off the cliff. And the big rock that she was trying to roll down to crush the dwarves ends up falling along with her. The vultures are smiling as they watch her go down there. They hear her hit the bottom and they go down there, which, you know, they went down there to eat her body. The dwarves see that and they notice, yeah, that hag probably dead. The dwarves surround Snow White as they have a little funeral for her. All of them are crying, including Grumpy. Grumpy is torn up. He is just sniffling, crying. Everybody is really sad that she is allegedly passed. This part used to get me when I was a kid. It was very emotional. But the thing that's also getting me is, if the queen is gone, what are people about to do? How is the kingdom about to work? Who do they tell complaints to? Who is the next person in line if they thought that Snow White was gone? So then it proceeds to say, so beautiful, even in death, that the dwarves could not find it in their hearts to bury her. They fashioned a coffin of glass and gold and kept eternal vigil at her side. That's sweet, but also terrifyingly creepy. It then says, the prince who has searched far and wide heard of the maiden who slept in the glass coffin. So I guess, again, she was just existing in this coffin for however long. Body preserved. It's definitely giving witch energy, because she should have been decaying. I'm guessing every day they probably come and see her and bring her some flowers and mourn her. This is so sad. So sad. So as this is going on, the prince shows up and he's singing the one song that he serenaded her with at the beginning when they first met. He walks up to her, looks at her being dead, and proceeds to kiss her, which, creepy. That is absolutely creepy, because he did not know that she was under his spell. He just walked up to her and kissing her dead lips. Do you know how ill that is? But he ends up, bowing his head to grieve her, and the dwarves, they feel sad still, and they bow their head to grieve her too. So Snow White ends up blinking her eyes, yawning. The dwarves notice this, and they instantly get happy. The animals notice it, get happy, and she sits up. And then the prince looks at her, and they end up embracing each other. Then these dwarven fools just start dancing. They so ever so happy that she's alive. They celebrate with glee. The animals, they just frolicking. Everybody happy. The prince puts her on a horse, and the prince lifts up every single dwarf for them to kiss her, for them to get a kiss from her on their forehead, and she tells them goodbye. Like, girl, I think we need to talk about what just happened. How did you wake up? What happened? What transpired where you was knocked out? We thought you was dead for some days. What happened? How did the prince, know where you was, wanted to come see you? What are you doing with your kingdom? Like, what's happening? Where did this prince even come from? What kingdom is he from? Is he taking over the current kingdom? Like, what's happening? What's going on? But they lived happily ever after, I guess. The movie was way funnier than I thought it was going to be. I was not expecting to laugh as much as I did. And I still feel like Snow White has some sort of powers where she can put somebody in a trance, make them do her bidding or something, because stuff was not adding up. The animals falling for her instantly, the dwarves falling for her instantly. I don't know. I would have loved to see her interact with some other women. Like, would the women like her? Or is it just a jealousy, hatred thing? And it's crazy that the queen really died by an error of being on a cliff. You would have thought she would have got taken out some other sort of way, but really a cliff took her out. her own self, well, calling upon that thunder, you know, it backfired, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know, Snow White is it's a classic, but I still do not understand the remakes of it all. I really do not. I'm gonna make a video where I react to the new Snow White trailer that came out, that's supposed to come out this week, the movie, because I don't know what that's about. Make sure you guys check out my 90s childhood playlist if you guys are interested in anything 90s related. Check that playlist out. Check out my movie reactions. I'll start a Disney movie reactions video as well if you guys are interested in that. If you're interested in any of the Snow White merch or gift ideas, clothing, or accessories, I'll have that link down below in the description box. But let me know if you guys like the movie Snow White. How do you guys feel about it? When was the last time you saw Snow White? Let me know in the comments down below. But I'll be seeing you guys again soon. Stay blessed, stay positive. Bye.